Good day everyone, and welcome back to Global Education Zone. And today, in the first episode for data processing for SS1, we are going to be dealing with history of computing. Now, the history of computing is a very important topic for us to talk about because computing is basically the thing that has revolutionized our world today. Now, computing can be seen as a study of how computers and computer systems work and how they are constructed and programmed. Now, computers systems, they are not just things that have to do with science and technology, they are also integrating with many other spheres of our lives. For example, in Japan, computing is seen as a very important aspect of understanding mathematics. So, and they make use of early computers like Abacus. Now, this Abacus, it is was one of the first computing devices. It was developed by the Egyptians in the 10th century before Christ, and then it was given its final shape in the 12th century Anno Domini by the Chinese educationists. Now, abacus is still being used today, even despite the fact that it was the earliest and first computing device, because it is very very useful for even some cases in schools today. Another early computer device we have is the Napier's bone. It was developed in 1617 by John Napier, who was a quite eccentric Scottish mathematician. So now this Napier's bone, it was basically operated by the principle of logarithm. So basically, it performed multiplications based on the logarithm of each of the numbers, and it was a very useful tool back then. But nowadays, when we have calculators, nobody will use these early computers. But the point is that even if they have become obsolete today, but the fact is, in their day, they were very useful and they demonstrate the wonders of computing. Now, the third early computer we'll be dealing with in our history of computing episode today, we'll be dealing with the Schickard calculating clock, and it was the first gear-driven calculating machine to be built by William Schickard in 1623. This Schickard's calculating clock is not very common. The Schickard calculating clock is not very common because William Schickard died in the bubonic plague, but it was very useful. And apart from this, we also have the slide rule. The slide rule was developed by in the in England. It was built in England in 1632. So this slide rule, it was used even by NASA in many of their space expeditions. So this slide rule, it was used in the 1960s by engineers working for the NASA, and they used it for the Apollo programs, which landed men on the moon. So you can see that this computing device, they were very very useful, and they were applied in very various ways. Now we also have the Pascal's calculator. The Pascal's calculator was developed by Blaise Pascal in the year 1642. He was a French scientist and he invented the adding machine called the Pascal's calculator or Pascaline. So basically, this machine, what it does is it represents the position of digits with the help of gears in it. So you can see the diagram of the Pascal's calculator here. This is how it looks, and it was very useful then. It was developed by Pascal. I think he was 19 years old the time he developed it, and he developed it for his father, I guess. Now, basically, we also have the Leibniz calculator. It was developed in the year 1671 by German mathematicians named Gottfried Leibniz, and it was like an improvement over Pascal's calculator because it was also able to perform divisions aside multiplication. Now let's come to this grand machine. It's called the Analytic Engine. It was developed by Charles Babbage in the year 1833, and it was powered by six steam engines. It was general purpose in nature, and it was very very useful because it was carefully designed by him. Though when it was designed, he made use of the programmable um, punch card technology of Jacquard's loom. So the this device, it consists of two main parts. The first part is the store, which corresponds to the memory in our today's computer, and then we have the mill, which corresponds to the central processing unit in today's computer. Now you can see these early computers, they have the very similar likelihood to they have similarity with our today's technology. They were like the predecessors. They are like the forefathers and the ancestors of today's advanced technology. Let's go to Hermann Hollerith's punch card. Now, this one was developed by Hermann Hollerith. He worked at the US Census Bureau, and he designed this machine to be able to ease the stress of calculating the US census data. So this also made use of punch card, and this punch card, they advanced counters in the machine. They're just like the ones and zeros in our digital computers today, and I would say they are the kind of the forefather of the ones and zeros in digital computing today. Now, last, let's talk about the John von Neumann machine. It was developed by its inventor John von Neumann, and it was also very it was similar to the Hermann Hollerith calculator. It's made use it was able to store data. So this late computing device that were very close to our today's computers, they also had the additional ability to store data. So unlike the early computing device like the Abacus, it didn't really have the ability to store data. But this John von Neumann's machine, it also could store data and in the computer's memory. Now, I hope you've enjoyed this episode on history of computers. Hopefully, I'll see you next episode where we'll be talking about digitization of data. Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching.